It's the girl Nathalie Nelson Parker here with my hubby Leon F. Parker III. And it's Nuggets with Nathalie. Super excited. We're live on IG and we're going live on Facebook. Hey, Facebook family. Nathalie Nelson Parker here.
Leon Parker III.
And welcome to Nuggets with Nathalie, special quarantine edition, where we're going to be sharing with you our 5 resources to make sure that are free resources, by the way, to make sure that your nonprofit is virtually ready. Now, everybody's talking about Zoom. Everybody's talking about designing your worship experiences. That's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight's nuggets are systems and structure for your success. Okay, so make sure throughout what's going on now and throughout your nonprofit that you have what you need, the systems in place to continually be virtually ready. All right, hubby.
There you go.
How's it been having me home for?
Wait till some more people come on.
Go ahead, like, tag, share, get your people in the room. We're going to be sharing some resources today. So I usually travel a lot for work. So this has been the first time in like 3 years, maybe has been 3 years that I've been home all the time. And doesn't my husband look so excited to have me home? Wouldn't you be excited to have me home? First of all, I'm an extrovert. So this is hard for me. If there are any extroverts out there, go ahead and put the struggle in the comment section. This is a struggle for me to be away from people this long. Can't go out the house. Do you like having me home? You didn't say if you liked having me home.
I love having you home. Super plus.
Super plus. Awesome.
What page are we on?
We are on Nathalie Nelson Parker's page. So go ahead, tag your people.
I don't see it here.
Hey, Kevin Kosh.
I don't see it.
Nathalie Nelson Parker. As you can hear, it's quiet tonight.
Shout out to babysitters. Shantae McDonald, if you're watching this, God bless you.
We love you and we appreciate you because we needed to have a day date. Tell the people what you did for our day date today.
I went grocery shopping. We went grocery shopping.
And what else?
I still don't see it.
And what else did we do? Mm-hmm. What else did we do, babe? Because you did something really nice today that I thought was really so sweet.
Are you talking about me barbecuing, grilling? I did that because if I didn't, there would be no food to eat tonight. Okay?
I made breakfast though.
All right.
I did make breakfast this morning. How was breakfast?
It was wonderful.
I made avocado toast, y'all. I'm such a good wife.
Marvelous.
Avocado toast. We're trying to keep it healthy because let's just say the Doritos have gotten me all the days of my life while on this particular quarantine. And so I'm trying to stay healthy. For those of you who are healthy, DM me. Let me know how you are keeping fit. Because at this point, my son will be 3 and I could no longer blame it on baby weight. So help a sister out. Help a sister out. Holla to all the good people who are joining us tonight. Nathalie and Leon Parker here, Nuggets with Nathalie, where we'll be sharing our top resources to help your nonprofit be virtually ready. Now, this is not going to be a live to talk about Zoom conferencing or going live in your worship or all of the other things that people are talking about at this time. We want to give you some actual systems that we use and have been using and are scaling up at this particular time. I think what's interesting about this time in the life of the church for nonprofits, even though it's a trying time and a challenging time, I also think it's an innovating time and an exciting time to do ministry differently. So I see it as an opportunity to take our nonprofits, our message to the world in a very unique way. And there's some nonprofits and churches that were already ready, were already virtual, already had their systems in place. There are some that were halfway there, and now they're kind of building the plane as they get there. And then there's some of us who we just weren't ready. Were we ready at St. Lucie Church?
I think we were just ready.
Talk about it a little bit. I think a lot of nonprofits will relate to our experience with how we've kind of had some things in place and how we had to transition quickly.
Well, one of the major things about being an organization is staying in communication with your people, whether it's a church, nonprofit organization, whether you're trying to keep in contact with your donors or supporters, having a direct and multiple direct ways to communicate with your people is essential. So I think in our context, we were prepared regarding email blasts, text messages, things of that nature. On the technology piece, as the saying says, it may not come when you want them, but we were right on time. Okay. And I'll tell you about that story a little bit later.
No, tell it now because it's a good story.
Well,
story time.
Once upon a time, there was a church. No. We had talked and had a lot of discussions about enhancing and improving communication and sharing through social media, virtually, and all the different ways that you can communicate and share the gospel. And so we had started having conversations, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And we really started pushing the button last year. And it just so happened that the beginning of this year, we really got serious about our video and online presence and having the equipment and technology that is needed to do those things. And so the virus started to creep into the Americas. Then was it first or second Sunday came by and people were starting to say, you need to be vigilant and start paying attention to what's going on. There could be a moment in our society where everything will shut down. And so we immediately went into planning mode. What will happen if you can't come to church? What will happen if your life is disturbed in such a way to where you can't even get spiritual discipline, gyms are closed, you can't do your body exercise, holistically.
We can't meet at the church, which is like
holistically, you're kind of thrown off your regular routine, mind, body, and soul. You can't go to the gym, you can't go to the church, you're at home, about to lose your mind.
I'm not losing my mind.
I'm about to lose mine.
Says the one who's
praise God for babysitters.
Hold on, can we put a pin in that?
Corona-free babysitters.
Whenever little Leon is antagonizing me, do you know what the dad says? He says, "I don't negotiate with terrorists." And then he leaves, and then I'm stuck getting beat up by a 2-year-old. But continue.
Time is filled with swift transition. I do not negotiate with terrorists.
Continue.
So we ordered the equipment. The equipment was on back order for some weeks. You sound like that other guy. But the equipment was on back order. And last week came, and Tuesday, all the equipment showed up. About 90% of the equipment showed up. So we streamed for the very, very first time. Last week.
Yeah.
And so we're excited. But I say all that to say is this situation that we're in right now, if it has not pushed churches and organizations to be more poised with technology, to be more innovative and to think outside of the box, I mean, that is one of the positive sides of what's going on. Not only that, getting our attention to go back and spend more time with God, but there's so many other different benefits. On the other side, we're vigilant and we're prayerful for those who are dealing with the virus. We're vigilant and we're prayerful for our country and even for the world. But then as I come back out of the negative, I look at articles about how pollution and emissions have gone down and how countries and cities are now seeing blue skies instead of gray smog. It's pros and cons to what's going on right now. But we didn't come to you all to talk about that tonight. We're here to give you all some tips.
Tips, tricks, and templates.
That sounds
a lofty goal. So we're going to talk about some systems and structures to start putting in place to get your church virtually ready. And all of these are free resources. If you choose to, take advantage of subscriptions and other things that you find helpful, that is great. But these are resources that we use in our own church. So today I'm going to talk about 5 things. We're going to talk about finding resources for nonprofit organizations in the form of whether it's QuickBooks, whether it's online resources, whether it's products. This is a resource that we use at our church to get subscriptions that are usually $100 to $300 for $5 to $100 or even less. There's free resources there. So we're going to take you through that. Then we're going to talk about texting and voice, so your automation. This is something that our church has been using for a while, and Leon's going to talk a little bit more about how effective it has been with engaging with the audience, as well as how you can even build that out in multiple ways to continue to virtually communicate with whether it's your nonprofit, your ministry, your donors, your funders, all of the people who are part of the work that you're doing. And the game changer is, I think, Google Profits. And we'll go into
Google for nonprofits.
Google for nonprofits. I think it's a game changer, particularly in this day and age when we're talking about social media, websites, going virtual. It's one thing to go virtual. It's another thing to be Googleable. And so we're going to talk about SEO as well as Google Grants that allows nonprofits to have 10K in grants when you sign up. So go ahead, tag, like, share right now and let them know that we're taking a deep dive and we have some great resources to share with you all. All right, so let's talk about TechSoup. So TechSoup is a phenomenal resource for nonprofits. When you think of anything from management, file saving, organizational structure, subscription-based things like QuickBooks, filing, anything you can think of. And I'm just going to show you a few of the services that they have here. Office Pro. There's even courses. There's a course that I'm looking into. And they also have this tag here where you can look at resources for nonprofits during these times. And all of these things are free, okay? Tools to support remote work, policy resources, virtual workshops. There are just so many resources here at TechSoup. And what I really love about them is their commitment to nonprofits to get things that and subscriptions that are normally expensive at an extreme discounted rate. And we use TechSoup to get our QuickBooks subscription, which is really, really good. There are still churches that are like doing it manually.
Very much so. They use ledgers, but also in TechSoup, they give you a number of different things. Like they may give you phone discount. There's so many different resources. Once you register and they get a chance to see what your organization is about, they start giving you resources that you may be eligible for to help. So we were paying what, maybe $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a year for QuickBooks, whereas we're paying maybe $150 for our bookkeeping service now.
Right.
So I mean, there's no reason why you should be writing in a general ledger unless that's what you like doing.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're going to see an uptick in online giving, you're going to see an uptick in virtual giving, whether that's text to give. And so you want to make sure that you have that system in place so that you can scale that. A lot of churches are feeling the hit now because we're used to traditional giving, tithes and offering, you bring it to the plate in the service. And now that we have the mandate to suspend services, there has to be a push for that online. So
the only one suspend my service is God Almighty. We have a church. Come as you are.
We have a church
6
virtually.
feet, mask and gloves.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. So you want to have that system in place.
Separation of church and state. Know your laws. Know your laws. No.
Now let's talk about ways and systems to communicate with your congregation, your audience. And I say audience because as a nonprofit or a church, there's multiple audiences that you serve, whether it's your congregation, whether it's your volunteers, whether it's your staff, your leadership team, your funders, your donors, your friends, your partners. And so you want to, at this time, especially since it's virtual, have as much communication as possible. And Call 'em All has been a great resource. What I love about them is that you can try it for free. I think they give you something like 30 credits or whatever the amount of credits are, and you can test it out. Talk a little bit about how.
Well, we pay like $15 a month, and they give you several hundred. They give you spaces for several hundred people as far as storing their numbers and communicating. But we use it as you see on the screen. You can do voice calls. You can do pre-recorded calls. When we had several community events, I used the recording from the radios to upload and to send that message out over the voice call. You can also do text messaging where you can text. And the only thing I don't like about Call 'em All, but I don't complain about it, because when you're working within small budgets, you get what you pay for, and you can always upgrade, as you see on the screen. There's pricing and other resources, but the text messaging is good, but you only get 320 characters. So you have to be real creative in what you want to say.
Who wants to read it?
Very, very
more
true.
than a 320 character text message?
Very, very true. But sometimes
you got to say more.
You have to say more. And then you can do text and voice at the same time. It's very, very simple. You can pre-record and set the times, certain times throughout the day and time zones, or you can stagger the calls so they all don't go out at one time. So there's some unique benefits of having Call 'em All. Also, if you see on the screen, there's something where you see conversations.
Mm-hmm.
If you text something to somebody and they respond, you can see those responses in real time, and you can text back to them. And so that's pretty unique. On Sunday, we used this during the worship when we did our call or invitation to discipleship. We told them to text prayer. What else did we tell them to text?
Prayer,
join and
or
salvation to the number provided. And if you wanted to join the church, if you wanted prayer, or if you wanted to accept Christ as Lord and Savior, you would text that. And on the back end, one of our staff members reached out to them. So that was a different way of being innovative. You could do it for telethons for your nonprofit organizations.
Or polls, what preaching series should we work on? What are the things that you're interested in? And then you have that data in real time to build experiences based on your congregation.
Right.
What I also love about it, and I think this is really a testament to our team, as well as Leon's vision as a pastor, of being intergenerational. So since some of our members are not very tech savvy, they're not going to log on to Facebook, or they may have some trouble with finding us on YouTube. What he does on Monday after the live worship service, when we upload the replay to YouTube, he sends a text message out with the direct link as well as the link to giving. And I think that's phenomenal way of being intergenerational and being able to reach those members that might not be able to reach us on Facebook Live.
3 words, call to action. Whenever you're engaging an audience, you always want to leave some kind of call to action, whether that's click on this link, whether it's send us a text message or email, whatever, whether it's watch our YouTube channel for services and Bible studies or whatever.
Or click the link to
give. You always want to leave somebody with a call to action. What is the next step after this video, after this podcast, after this Zoom, after this training? What do I do next? Buy my book. Right?
Well, we're not texting buy my book, but you get it. Well, my book is available at Nathalie.
Buy my book.
All right, take us to Google for Nonprofits.
So Google for Nonprofits several years ago was something that to me was secretive. I heard of Google for Nonprofits, but it was something that was really unheard of. And it's been around for a number of years.
Matter of fact, if you've heard and used Google Nonprofits, put 1 in the comments.
Google for Nonprofits.
Google for Nonprofits. Put 1 in the comments so we can see how many of our world changers out there are utilizing that resource. All right, tell us about it.
So Google for Nonprofits is a game changer for nonprofit organizations. If you are a 501c3 organization, whether it's religious institution or not-for-profit, 501c3 status, you qualify for Google for Nonprofits. What is Google for Nonprofits? Google for Nonprofits is basically a number of resources through Google that allows you to maximize your religious institution or your not-for-profit organization. They have a myriad of resources, and just to name a few, they give you a YouTube page. Google has partnered with YouTube. They allow you to sync, upload your videos, have a YouTube page to share information. You get your own watermark logo on all of your videos. It's just a number of different things. For free. You can do some minor editing, put in closed caption on your videos, all for free. But not only that, they will give you up to $10,000. And I don't believe it is just one time. I think it's for a period of time. They will give you up to $10,000. Not actually in your bank account, but it's free ads, advertising. It helps your SEO. Nathalie, tell us what SEO is.
So SEO is search engine optimization. So a lot of our churches have websites, or you have Facebook pages, or you have a YouTube page. But if you don't have search engine optimization, that basically means you're not Googleable. So what your partnership with Google Nonprofits does is, if someone's looking for a church near me, or if someone's looking for St. Luke CME church, and there's a whole bunch of St. Luke CME churches, but because we have that partnership with Google Nonprofit, your search, when anyone search you, it's going to be optimized, so they're going to see you at the top as opposed to being on the second or the third page of that the Google search. Now that's really important, because it's one thing to have all of these virtual resources, virtual services, websites, but if you can't be found, it's like you don't exist. So this is an incredible partnership. And then the Google Ads grant is what Leon was talking about in regards to.
So the Google ad, they give away services, premium services, like $10,000 a month. Let me be clear, in ad credits
and text ads
at no cost. So that's something that's really, really.
Tag
really,
your friends right now. Tell them.
Y'all see that? helps you raise awareness, attract donors for your organization, recruit volunteers. A lot of nonprofits are in many times, in many cases, are in need of resources. They will help you find resources and in-kind advertising on Google search. This is something that's amazing.
And then this is what you were talking about.
The YouTube, absolutely.
So this is a great resource. I think out of all the resources that we're sharing today, this again was the game changer for us. And we're still living into using the ads and leveraging YouTube and all of that. But
the other part of the whole Google for Nonprofits, you get G Suite. And in G Suite, there's the scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's your calendar. You can sync with different people. There is things like Google Docs, of course, where you can share documents, and Google Hangout.
Calendar.
Google Hangout is the equivalent to Zoom. And a lot of people use that when they're facilitating courses, because it allows you to split screens and share screens and things of that nature. But you get all of this. You can make funding proposal. You can deal with onboard. All of this is linked under one hub, Google for Nonprofits in G Suite. These are all the free resources that you can have and have available to your organization to maximize your all's capacity. I think you get like 35 gigs of space in G Suite, but then if you run out of the space, of course, you can pay for a subscription and upgrade it. But Google will allow you to share space with other storage apps or websites. So, for example, if you have Dropbox and you have room on Dropbox after you maximize your 35 gigs, you can sync those two and utilize that space. You have 24/7 customer service and support via phone, chat, or email. So if you run into an issue, if you run into a technical problem, you can call Google and say, "Hey, Google, I need your help." Mm-hmm. Those are really like the main benefits for having Google for Nonprofit. I will say, even though you may have 501c3 status or you are a church in a nonprofit status, you have to show proof. There is a process where you can apply. You can't just go tonight and say, "Hey, I'm going to register for Google for Nonprofits." You have to go through a process. And the other part of it is Google for Earth, Google Maps. I mean, it just enhances everything about your organization. And that's one way I can see Google really giving back to nonprofit organizations. That
it's amazing. It really is a game changer. And then they also too have resources here. Now let's talk about fundraising. And we talked about this with our finance team, particularly because this is new for a lot of them. Giving for the church and for nonprofits through this experience has changed. It's just not going to be the same.
You shutting people's lives down?
It's just not going to be.
Devon, we apologize.
Devon, I'm sorry I messed up your life.
Folks is ruthless out here.
Giving is not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same as it was. And so what we're doing at this time, and I highly suggest everyone takes advantage of.
I don't even want to just say giving. Church as we know it, life as we know it. I know we're talking a lot about church, but life as we know it will never be the same. And they say after you do something, 60 days or several weeks?
Yeah.
After you do that for a certain period of time, it becomes a habit. So we know the process for those who have habits, it takes a while to break those habits. So having these resources help you engage in such a way that you cannot engage when you don't have an opportunity of usual engagement of face-to-face. Mm-hmm. Now, I've been saying this to a number of my colleagues and friends all week. I said, this is prepare organizations and churches to where they should have been if they have not been there 10 years ago.
That point.
Period.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
IG.
No, that's the fact. That's the truth. And so, and I think having those systems and structure in place, that's the nugget for the day. Systems and structures create success. And so that's what these resources are, for you to create those structures and those systems within your organization, whether you're a nonprofit or you're a faith-based church or ministry organization, for you to set that up. And so how are we empowering and utilizing this downtime for our key leaders? So whether that's finance, whether that's trustees, whether it's, who else are the key leaders?
The board
members,
deacons,
whatever, whoever your key leaders are, this is going to be a time to introduce them to information that they need to start thinking more innovatively.
What was that nugget again? I'm going to share it.
Systems and structure.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? That was a good nugget.
Equal success.
Our keys are essential
success.
to success. Systems and structure are essential to success. And so right now, e-learning is a phenomenal way to give them a new breath of information, as well as build their confidence. People were afraid of virtual church, were afraid of online giving. That was one of the key conversations that we had when we first became pastors at St. Luke Church. And so helping people with the information for them to feel confident about these things. And here's a resource from classcentral.com where you can sign up for free to find the information that you need to prepare your leaders. I already, as you can see, I've been searching and I already signed up for a few courses, and we've also are preparing our leaders to take advantage of some of these courses, and they're free. And some of them are from like Yale and Harvard and Oxford. I'm not going to go to London right now. Ain't nobody going to London right now.
But I can say I took a class.
I can say I took a class at Oxford for the free.
I was a scholar.
And so classcentral.com is a great resource. And this is a way of asking your leaders to do something and you're not stressing them out. You're adding value. You're building confidence in information. You're training, you're building the skill sets. And so this is an awesome resource for you. And again, all of these resources are free. The fifth one is email. And we're not going to talk about it tonight because I want to do a separate live to just talk about email campaigns, because there's a way that you can maximize your messaging in your email campaigns to monetize. And not in a way that you're taking advantage of people, but in a way that you're captivatingly and compellingly sharing your story so that the people who are connected to your work can give and to fund to your mission. And so that's the fifth resource, but we're not going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it another time. So those are your 5 things. TechSoup.com for your subscriptions, your resources, your systems that you need to get in place for your communication, text message, as well as voice. You're going to use callemall.com. You can just go use it for free, test it out, see how you like it. Game-changing resource, Google for nonprofits.
Yes.
SEO, search engine optimization, as well as $10,000 a month in text ads. That's phenomenal. And then classcentral.com so that you could take advantage of this time to use e-courses to build up some of the information that you want your leaders to know, as well as if you want to know, come on, take this time to work on yourself, to develop yourself. Personal and professional development is so key. And to be able to do that from the comfort of your own home for free is amazing. We're going to talk about MailChimp, which is what we use at our church.
Yeah, but there's so many different email communicators. Is it Emily, MailChimp? Emily.
Hey, Emily. How you doing, girl? There's so many. Whatever you use, it doesn't matter. I know MailChimp is really good for free. because they give you up to about 2,000. And then when you max out 2,000, you can choose
2,000 contacts.
2,000 contacts.
Yes.
And after you get 2,000 contact, max that out. Then you can go to another monthly subscription. And we're going to talk about how to do that, how to work on your messaging. On Wednesday, on my free coaching call, so this is your call to action. I want you to sign up for free coaching at nathalienelsonparker.com/group coaching. On that call, we're going to talk about creating amazing and transformational online experiences. And I'm going to bring on Candy Kyler, who is our experience director, who talked us through, she's in Atlanta, and she talked us through how to go from never having a virtual experience to creating this whole new platform. And so that's going to be really helpful for all of our nonprofits, as well as church leaders out there who are thinking about how can I maximize and create a virtual experience that, you know, when things change and we can go back to church and all of that, that we won't miss a beat and will still be compelling.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit, and then we're going to close, just give us a nugget about how working with Candy helped us during this transition?
It's always good to have someone outside of your organization, your church, your group, who will give you honest opinion, non-biased direction, and really just the truth to help and to enhance whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's production, whether it's creating a different and unique worship experience, or whether it's bringing together worship in person and online together.
Those elements.
The elements, it's layered and it's a lot of work, and it is a production. A lot of people don't like to use those words when it comes to church, but I mean, if you are not purposefully planning a worship experience, you're just going through the motions.
Right.
But that's a whole nother live.
Yeah. It's an intentional design.
Yeah, very much so.
It's an intentional
And so
design.
Candy helped us with our intentional design to help get us through this period. I mean, again, this was our first time streaming. We literally took things out of boxes and said, okay, how are we going to set this up so that we can touch lives and meet needs come Sunday morning at 9:55 a.m.
Yeah.
And we had, 3 days to do it?
3 days. And kudos to our team who just...
Shout out to AJ Thurman.
Yeah.
A very, very resourceful young man. Our praise and worship team, Shantae, Cedric.
Oh, you naming names.
I'm calling. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to my team, Ashley Giles, Chantel, Crystal.
Man. We gotta walk them through all of that.
Brother Stevenson.
We gotta walk y'all through how we create,
Uncle Lamont.
How our team came together and all of the different aspects of worship.
Yeah, and we
should do that next week.
Yeah, how about it?
We'll do that next week. So Wednesday, join us for the coaching call. Candy's gonna walk us through her expertise, and she's a certified event planner. She's phenomenal.
She's good.
She's amazing. She plans the Leading and Transformation Conference. She's worked with us.
She's
every
good.
year. And then we'll come back on Nuggets with Nathalie next Friday, and we'll kind of just pull up the lid and let you know like the process of what it was like for us to go online virtual, and share those tips with you. All right. Well, we love you, y'all. That's it. That's all. Says the clock on the wall, as my coach will say. Go to nathalienelsonparker.com group coaching. We want to share more resources this season. We're just loving on people.
Well, before y'all leave, one thing, let's do this. Are there any questions? Any questions, drop them in the comment section.
Yeah, quick.
Before we go.
Because we got to
and pick up Leon Parker the fourth.
Did y'all see how he messed up my live yesterday?
It was organic. It was organic. Everyone loves children.
Just embarrass. You can't be great with a 2-year-old in the house, okay? You just can't be great. They won't let you.
Yes, you can. Remember this. This is Lessons with Leon.
Oh, okay.
We do not negotiate. Look at me. Look at me. Do not negotiate with terrorists.
Terrorists.
Okay.
Leon just leave me out high and dry.
No.
I'm talking about my son.
I set the law and the order. You follow those. Law.
See something.
3 words, law and order. And I guarantee after that law and
I'm
order,
like, babe,
you'll say God did it.
Babe, aren't you going to do something? He's like, you want me to do something?
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, we got to go because we have this social distancing. You are closer than 4 feet.
All right, y'all.
All right, good night, everybody. God bless you.
Wednesday. Hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. We'll still address them. Again, go out. Don't go out. Stay home.
Yeah.
And be great. Love on your family.
Bless your bones.
We love you. We appreciate you. NathalieNelsonParker.com group coaching. Any questions you have, we can do one-on-ones there. I appreciate you.
Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Leon F. Parker III.
At Nathalie N. Parker on Instagram and Nathalie Nelson Parker on Facebook.
Share, like, comment. God bless you. Good night.
Peace out, IG.